Good morning. Happy Thursday, June 4th, 65 degrees, 21 degrees Celsius, and I'm in my favorite new rocket launching spot. I love this spot here. I'm on my way over to the gym again early this morning. What time did I say it was? 6:26. And the cool thing about today is it's a sunrise launch, and it should be going up here any second. So I think I've got a better bead on it today. So let's just give it a second. There was about a minute left before this launch. Oh, there's an airplane going up right over there. That'll be a good view for them. But look at this sunrise. This is going to be good. There might be some jellyfish. We don't know. It was a 95% chance for launch. So that's a good. There it is. Look how fast I found that for you. Come on, give it to me. All right, here we go. This is the Falcon 9. Hey, and I'm going to tell you this while this is going up. I went over to Port Canaveral with my friend Karen this weekend, and the barges were there with boosters on them. I'll try to add a picture at the end of this. Of the boosters sitting there on the barges getting unloaded. They must have brought them back from the Bahamas or wherever the barge picked them up at. But it was cool to see them, how they land on that. I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit, see how good of a shot I can do of this guy. Look at him go. Boy, this is really banking low. Look at that. Let's see when he gets up here a little bit in the higher atmosphere. Oh yeah, here comes the tail. Look at that. Man, that's pretty in the morning. Look at that arc. I'm trying to show you the path he's taking. Looks like the engine cutoff is right there. Let's see what happens here. Oh yeah. We're gonna get a little jellyfish. What are we gonna get? Oh, you might see the fairings coming off. Boy, look at that. There we go. That's pretty. It's 4 minutes into flight. We're still able to see it. I am over at Port Canaveral, and look at this. I'm right at Grills. Grills is back here. Look at this big cruise ship. I'm gonna eat right behind. Grills is the name of a restaurant right there, but that's something of the seas, I believe. Look at that ship. But here's the point of this video. Look over here, folks. That's pretty cool. There is one of the boosters from a Falcon rocket. Looks like they're just getting ready to lift it off that, but there's the legs down at the bottom. Look at that thing, it is toasty. And it almost looks like there's another one. I can't see the legs on that one, but doesn't that look similar? Yeah, those are identical. So there's two boosters standing up over there on barges, it looks like, getting ready to get plucked off there and taken back to the shop to fit them onto another rocket. Wow, that's pretty cool to see. But here we go. Gonna grab a bite to eat. Happy Saturday, June 6th. It is beautiful down here in Orlando, Florida today. And it's supposed to be nice until Wednesday. I don't think they're calling for any rain until mid next week. Right now it's about 81 degrees Fahrenheit, 26 degrees Celsius. So if that gives you a little indication on where we're at. This week, the channel reached 11,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. If you've subscribed, you've been following along with all the home remodel, the shark tooth hunting, the buggy rides, the rocket launches, tiki hunts, whatever, you know, I've been out doing, and you've been following along. I appreciate you riding along right there in the jump seat, calling shotgun. Today, it's another little excursion. I've never been here. I am going to head to Melbourne, Florida. Okay, you can see my shirt. I need my space, right? You guys remember when I got this over in Titusville, but down at the bottom it says Space Coast, USA. The Space Coast is 72 miles of Florida coastline, and it goes from Titusville. If you remember Titusville, that's where Mr. Wanted and I went over and watched the Artemis rocket launch. That's the top of Space Coast. All right, right there is NASA. Then you can come down a little bit. That's Cape Canaveral. You go down a little farther, that would be Cocoa Beach. And you go a little farther, that would be the bottom of the Space Coast. And that would be Melbourne, Florida. Okay, that's where I'm heading today. I've never been any farther south than Cocoa Beach. So I want to take the road over, get down to Melbourne, just check it out. I've never been there. I want to see if they've got, you know, nice beaches. Never heard anybody even talk about a beach at Melbourne. I know they've got them, but I don't know. Everybody I've encountered has never talked about it. So I don't know what kind of beach it is. I'm going to see if they've got any tiki bars. I'm going to see if they've got any thrift stores over there. I want to check those out. I got all day to do it. Okay, so let's do that. I'll even show you here on a map what it looks like over there and where it's exactly at. Right now, here, let me get you off here. Let's take a look at the map, shall we? As somebody used to say. All right, here we go. Here's our details. June 6th, this is Saturday. 81 degrees, 26 degrees Celsius. Oh, next launch, okay, the next launch is scheduled for 6:07 a.m. on Monday. So if you're down here on vacation on Monday, try to jump up early. You know, if you're going to the gym or whatever, going to the parks, 6:07, step outside, look up, and watch a rocket go up. The next one after that will be next Friday. So this coming week has only got two. I wish they had more for you, but they've only got two. That one's a little later in the morning, 8:07 a.m. Okay, no concerns in the Atlantic Basin. What I mean by that is no hurricanes in the forecast. So here, let me show you this. This is Florida, right? Here's the panhandle up here. We're coming down around. Florida Keys are down here. This little stretch of coastline is what's considered the Space Coast, okay? So I'm looking through my phone, so bear with me. Right there is where the rockets go up. That's Kennedy Space Center out there, all right? Titusville would be like right here. So when me and Mr. Wanted were watching the Artemis go up, we were looking right across that water, and there goes the rocket like that. Miami would be down here. Key West, Jimmy Buffett's favorite area, down here on the Florida Keys, okay? Coming back up, you got Fort Myers. That's where I went and stayed on those islands. We went to Sanibel and Captiva, Pine Island. That's where I saw the hammock and stuff. So that's way down here. Up here's Orlando, right? Over here you've got Tampa. That's where I went to the Tiki dock with Scott and Grant. And, you know, Venice Beach, the shark tooth hunting was kind of in this area. So I'm just giving you a reference. Space Coast over here, Orlando. I've been over here on these two areas. Only been to about right here. I've never been to Melbourne right here. Up here you'd have Jacksonville right on the coast of Georgia, or on the state line. Tallahassee, just in case you forgot, the capital of Florida is in Tallahassee right there. And then you've got Pensacola and Panama. Okay, Panama City right there. So this is Destin and the Panhandle. So there's your little Florida area. Today, what I'm going to do, let me show you this down here now. All right, you ready? Here would be Orlando. I'm going to go straight east on the toll road, the 528 toll road. Kind of jogs down. It would, if you were to take it straight across, it'll turn into A1A. Okay, Vanilla Ice sang about A1A. So right over here would be the jetty. This is where the cruise ships pull in. You know, this is where I saw the boosters coming in on the barges right there. Cape Canaveral is just a little north. You'd have Merritt Island. This is a reserve out there, nature area right there. So, you know, Kennedy is out here, but then the rest of it is all protected. There's where the Artemis went up. Titusville, this is kind of the top. Again, like I was saying, of the Space Coast. Titusville's right here. If you were to come down the coast, you're going to have Cape Canaveral. These are the major cities that are in this, you know, considered the Space Coast. Cocoa Beach, and then down here is Melbourne. Okay, it's on the mainland, but there's bridges that go out over here to the Barrier Island. This is like a big barrier island that goes all the way down to Palm City. So I'm just trying to give you a reference right here. There's a lot of bridges that'll get you over to the beach. So I'm gonna eventually get today over here to the beach. I want to put my foot in the Atlantic Ocean right there. So that's what we're going to do. If you know you were to be in Melbourne, I'm probably going to take the toll road, drop down, go right by Ron John, which I've done before, and then all the way down to Melbourne. You can also work your way over here to 192. And I know you've heard of 192 because Adam used to live right here in Celebration, and that's where 192 goes through, right? Every time he showed the water tower, he was right there at 192. Old Town, where he went to the car shows, 192. All the old gift shops and stuff, you know, that he always showed in his videos, 192. So if you were to take 192, you could kind of cut through at almost a 45-degree angle all the way down to Melbourne and right out to the ocean. So a couple ways to get there, depending on where you're at. Again, I'm in Orlando, right next to 528. So that's where I'm going to shoot out. The airport, just for a reference, when I went out to the big B-52 bomber, you know, and I showed you the merch, that was right here at the airport. In case you didn't know what MCO, you'd probably see that on your, every time you fly down here, it says MCO. That used to be an Air Force base right here, okay? And it closed in the 70s, and it was McCoy Air Force Base. Colonel Michael McCoy is who that's named after. So they just stuck with the MCO. And if you've ever wondered, you know, that's the airport code. It's a IATA code, and that stands for the International Transport or Air Transport Association right there. I didn't know that till I've looked that up, so I thought that was interesting. So MCO is the IATA code for Florida. You know, it goes by Orlando International Airport, but the code is still MCO that you probably see on all your tickets. So there you go. As Mike says, if you didn't know, now you know. A1A, like I said, this is the 528 toll, and that changes over right here, you know, at the water before you get out onto Merritt Island. And then the Florida State Road, A1A, it goes from the Florida Keys all the way up. Florida Keys all the way up to the Georgia line, okay? And what I thought, let me see if I wrote it down. They renamed that in 2024, and they call it now the Jimmy Buffett Memorial Highway. How about that? And Jimmy Buffett, back in 1974, I wrote it right there, his 5th studio album, he named A1A. All right? And that's got, you know, you think, oh, that's cool. I don't know any songs on that album. I bet you do. I bet you've heard of The Pirate Looks at 40, Tin Cup Chalice, what's another one? Stories We Could Tell. Songs like that. There's probably 12 great songs on that album, but that was his 5th album, and he named it A1A after after the road that goes up Florida's coastline right there from the Florida Keys all the way up. So let's do it. Let's get going. Just for a reference, Orlando to, I'll say, Cocoa Beach. Yeah, probably, maybe even Cape Canaveral right in here before you make the turn and go south. That's 55 miles, 88 kilometers. So that's what I've got to do right now. And then once I make that turn and go south down to Melbourne, I've got about 23 more miles, 37 kilometers to go. Okay, does that help figure things out right there? So it's going to be a little drive. It's toll road, so it's going to cost a little bit of money, but that's the fastest way to get there rather than cutting through neighborhoods and going out and around to avoid a couple dollars worth of tolls. So I'm going to do that and get in, I guess if that's how I do it, it's going to bring me out here to the beach before I actually go to the mainland part of Melbourne. I'll be out here on the beach. Here. So we're on our way. Let's get going. We've got a ways to go. Space Coast. Here we come. Here's what the drive looks like. I've got about 15 more minutes. I got off of 528, the toll road. I got on 95. This is what's angling down now to 192 area, the Melbourne area. So this is the last road I got to be on. This is the second road I have been on. So pretty simple to get over here. Traffic's flowing right now. It's 83 degrees. It's about 11:30. Boy, I'm going to let this guy pass me. I want you to see this boat coming. How about owning one of these? There it comes. Get ready. There's his truck. That's what he pulls it with. Center console. Look at that. 300 horsepower. Looks like Yamahas. Wow. 600 horsepower on that boat. It's nice. Look at that boat. All those fishing poles. I've been told each one of those fishing poles, when you have a really nice setup, is like $1,000 for a fishing pole. Oh man, I think I used to have a little Zebco. Wasn't that the name of fishing poles back in the day? A little Zebco. Used to fish in the local pond there in my little town. It was a tile pit. I guess they call it a pond, but we called it the tile pit because 100 years ago there used to be a clay tile factory right there, and that's where they had dug out all the clay, and then after the fire burned down the tile factory, they just left the pit there, and now there's fish in there and stuff. So back in the day. All right, we're almost there. Let's go. We got a lot going on with that Jeep right there. Here we are, A1A. Now, I would imagine the ocean is right on the other side of that apartment building. Berm, right there. Let's go down. I'm going to turn right. Here we go. And let's see if we get any view, the first view of the ocean, anywhere up here. South Patrick Shores is where I'm at right now. Sign right there just said it. It's a little more old school down here than I was expecting. Kind of like it. See, can you see on the left how it's just a big grove of these palmetto palms? It's probably a natural break from when the hurricanes roll by. Yeah, it's not as congested as I thought it might be. All right, I just got off of A1A. I've been driving down that for 5 or 10 minutes. It's right there where you see the traffic going by. Maybe I can aim it a little bit more. Right there. Look at this place. It's called Moo's Ice Cream Shop. It says Coney Island hot dogs. It's got a cow out front. It's got a hot dog out front. Hey, and it's 12 o'clock. I'm all for a good hot dog. So I might stop there and grab something. That way I can kind of look at the map and see, you know, where I'm at and what shops or beaches are near me here. And then we'll head back out. So let's do that. Let's stop in here to Moo's Ice Cream Shop. I'm gonna give you a good look at this place. Look at this. Everything is black and white, cow related. I dig it. Oh, there's an old car across the way there. Huh. All right. Let's give it a whirl. We'll see what happens here at Moo's Ice Cream. Coney Island hot dogs. We're right there. We're at the corner of Franklin Avenue and A1A. We're about ready to head in here and check out this hot dog place, but this is A1A. Let's walk out here and see. It's just a busy, and right across, right behind these buildings is the ocean. People are taking a picture with the sign. It's a pretty cool place. Let's check out the old ride over here. Look at the white walls on this thing. Got a little modern interior going on. That's nice. Look at the trunk. Wow. These are really cool. Love that color. Man, that's beautiful. Moo's Ice Cream, it's utterly delicious. That's the tagline. How about that? I wonder if their little ice cream up there still works at night with the neon. That'd be cool. All right. I don't know how much farther south I'm going to go. I might just head back. I saw a couple thrift stores. Might check out and then pull into one of those beaches for sure. So here we go. Let's try out the dog. Check out this guy. Putting a little ketchup on his head. Just like I'm gonna do. Team ketchup. Pick this up too. Gotta have a sticker from Moo's. This place has got a lot going on. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna sit under the shade here and wait for my hot dog to be called. Look at this. People are hanging out outside. It's getting busy. It's nice. It's 82 degrees down here. Ooh, I think my name's being called. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I had a chili cheese dog, some chips, and a little drink. I'd come back to it. You know, if I had to rate it like that, you know, at a restaurant, would I come back to? Yeah, I'd come back to that. Still continuing south here. I wanted to go just a little bit further to Melbourne Beach, and then I'm going to turn around and go back up to Cocoa Beach. There's a couple tiki bars I want to try to find, and then there's a couple thrift stores I'd like to dip into and just see what else is along the way. I don't know how much farther I have to go up here to Melbourne Beach. I just turned the GPS off. I was tired of hearing it. I know where I'm at. The ocean's right there. So let's just cruise and see what's going on. Long Doggers. How about that for a name? It's a cool place, a little beach burger place. Boy, there's Publix down here everywhere. Colorado didn't have Publix, but down here they are. Seems like every street corner's got a Publix. What road is that? 190. Oh, that's 192 right there. We talked about that going all the way up to Celebration. So that would be one way to go back to the Orlando area. or to 95, which I brought down here. Same in Cocoa Beach. There's a surf style right here on the left, and we just passed it back here on the right, and that's the setup in Cocoa Beach where they're across the street from each other. I wonder why they do that. They have two stores a couple hundred yards away. Looks like a lot of people going to the beach. I wonder if there's an access right here to the left. I don't know where they all park though. Okay, we're going straight east towards the ocean, and it's right there. Beach Market, Ocean Grill, little ice cream shop. So straight ahead's the ocean. Let's just see if we can do a little turn in there. Wow, there's actually a couple parking spots. How do you get those? They don't want you to cross those double yellows. So this is Melbourne Beach. Okay. Look at this place right on the ocean. Wow, I didn't even think it was still open, but I see somebody up on the balcony here. Look at that. That place is rough, but pretty cool. Maybe that's a good place for Jimbo's Rockets and Tiki Resort. What do you think? Look at this place. Sand on the beach. Wow. I didn't even think this place was still open. Boy, that's cool. Is there even any parking here? Sand restaurant, seafood bar, outdoor dining on the beach. Fresh local seafood, oysters, tacos, burgers, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's just take a walk out and see what it's all about. Get out of here. So, there's the Atlantic. Look at that. Right there's that restaurant. Boy, look at the color of that water here. It's really nice. So A1A comes and does a turn, and then it goes right along now, right along the ocean right here. Well, that surf is up there today. Look at that. Let me zoom in for you. I do want to find a parking lot where I can walk out to the water. Check it out. It'll probably be back the way we came. This is nice. That's a cool restaurant. I think I should open up a tiki bar called Rockets and Tikis. I like that idea. I know I could do the theming. Rockets and Tikis. And you know what I would have? I would definitely have tiki mugs. I have called so many tiki bars over here on the coast that claim they're tiki and they don't even have a tiki mug for sale. They say, oh, we have plastic cups. I'm like, it's not the same. I would have the porcelain, ceramic, or whatever they're made of. Glass, you know, the tiki mug. That's what you gotta have, right? I would have hats. This is the one I got over on St. James Island, or St. James City there. I would have shirts. What else? Whatever. But for sure I'd have a tiki mug. I just don't get it when they say they don't have it. That's a miss. The tiki culture, you might have all the theming. You can't take something like that home to put on a shelf? Man. Rockets and tikis. The tiki mug would be a rocket. What do you think? Or a tiki head. I'm liking that idea. Now I just gotta find a building. Keep my eye open for some building that's for sale over here. Okay, so Melbourne, I like it. It's kind of old school Florida feel. It's not as commercialized as I thought it might be. It's kind of nice that way. I like it. Just a lot of residential condos, homes. But we're heading north. Let's go back up north to Cocoa Beach and explore that a little bit, because I have never been south of Ranjan. So this was the farthest south on the ocean side that I've been. So now let's fill in that gap and go back up to Ranjan, where I have been before. And then, you know, I've covered the whole coast down here. But I'm just giving you a little glimpse of what this area is like. A lot of residential rentals, condos, apartments. Beautiful color of the ocean right out here. What I will do before we get to Cocoa Beach, I'm going to stop at one of those public parking lots and take a look around in there and see what the ocean looks like up close. So let's go find one of those. Right here is the entrance to it. Oh, man, look at the aqua color of the beach, or the water down here. Rip currents. There's the lifeguard on duty. Wow, it's busy right here. Somebody's kite surfing down there. Some people trying to boogie board. There he goes. Now they're trying to get back out. It's nice if you got flippers on when you're boogie boarding. You get a lot more speed power trying to get back out. I want to see if this guy can catch a wave. He's on a real surfboard. Might not be a long ride. Here he goes. He's waiting for just the right wave out there. Oh, is he thinking? There he goes, there he goes, there he goes. Come on. Nice. Oh, short ride. Look at the name of this place, Stoked Kitchen. I like their little logo. It's got an astronaut holding the pineapple. It's doing good business right there on the entrance to the beach. I spot across the street from here. Look at this. The Tiki Cafe. Let's go see if they got any mugs or shirts or hats. I got to figure out how to get across that busy street. Here we go. Okay, made it across. Tiki Cafe. Let's see what it's all about. Right next to the Monkey Bar and Grill. Surf Emporium, t-shirts, swimwear. That was Mel's Tiki Cafe, and boy, they tried everything to find me an extra large shirt, but no luck. But I did get a cool little hat, Mel's Tiki Cafe. I dig it. Simple, and a sticker for the buggy. So keep an eye out for that in the near future, inside the buggy somewhere. So let's continue north up to Cocoa Beach, because I think there's 2 more tiki bars and a thrift store up that way. This Saturday is just beautiful. Love it today, man. Little breeze, look at the breeze. You can see the flags. Just enough to cool it off. Patrick Space Force Base Inspection. Okay, so this must be, there's a big satellite dish. Look at that to the right. Wow. That almost looks like a telescope to an old planetarium. Huh. Could that be? Is that what that is? Let's pull in to check it out. The airport might be to my right, or to my left. But look at this thing. Why are there so many cars here? That's a telescope. No windows on that building at all. Huh. It's not open. I mean, the door's up at the top. But I guess that would be pretty dark at night. Aimed out over the ocean. What does that say right there? It's got to be pretty secure, I bet. After hours contact. All right. So there's that telescope straight ahead, and then that satellite dish is kind of off to the left. Water tower over there at the base. Boy, what a day. This area is kind of, I'm not going to say spooky, but it's quiet. What does that water tower have on it? Can we see what that says? Space Force, look at that. The United States Space Force, that's cool. All right. Let's try to go to the beach right here. See what they got. I can hear the ocean crashing. I just don't know how far the beach is. That road right there is A1A. That direction's going to Melbourne. That direction's going up to Cocoa Beach. Let's look over this berm. Oh yeah. There's a few people. A lot less people here. Doesn't look like any lifeguards are on duty. Cool. I like that wagon with the huge wheels. That'd make it nice to bring your stuff out from your car. Let's see if we can find a couple shells. This beach has got some shells. The water's coming up quite a ways too. I got to be careful. There's one shell right there. Look at that one. Big piece of coral or something. Let's see. I know I'm going to be looking down and the water's going to come up. Look at that. Clean that up. I always forget to bring a bag. I needed to bring a bag to throw all these shells in. Here comes that water. It's trying to lure me in. Cool. A couple. Yeah, I should have brought a bag or a beach basket. That's an interesting view, seeing a big satellite dish that big aimed out at the ocean. Touch of basil, the dune, Cocoa Beach. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, a lot of people coming and going this way. Look at that. There's where we're heading, to the Dirty Bird Tiki Bar. Look at that. Love it. Let's go check it out, see what's happening in there. Look at, they got tiki torches. Wonder if they light theirs, unlike Tiki Docks. We're on Minutemen Causeway and Atlantic Avenue. That's where we're at right now. Find some parking, go check this out.